Hello, everyone. Over the last few days, we have seen unprecedented scenes in both the houses of parliament. For the first time in Indian parliament history, 141 MPs have been suspended. If yesterday was a record number of over 70 plus, today another number of 49 plus MPs have been suspended. Well, the Lok Sabha speaker says, and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha say that they were carrying placards, which is not allowed. And this is a new Southern, a new discipline has to be followed. Akhilesh is my colleague at NDTV. Akhilesh ji, let's do a recall. We are saying it's unprecedented and rightly so, because last time such a huge number of suspension, mass suspension in many ways happened was in 1989. What had happened then?
Well, the day was March 15th, 1989, and that day a report was tabled. This report was of uh, basically
Justice Thakkar Commission.
Justice Thakkar Commission report was
Yes.
tabled.
That was into assassination of Indira Gandhi.
That was to look into assassination of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and in that Justice Thakkar report some observations were marked about Mr. R.K. Dhawan. You know, Mr. R.K. Dhawan was very close to Indira Gandhi when she was the Prime Minister, and later on, when Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, that time Mr. Dhawan became part of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's staff. And he was very close to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi also. So the opposition parties demanded that since there were adverse comments about the role of Mr. Dhawan in the commission's report, so
who was
proper
then
action,
the special assistant to the Prime Minister.
that time he was. So since there was strong observations against him, so a thorough investigation should be ordered and his role should be probed in the assassination of Indira Gandhi ji. So this was the demand raised by opposition party MPs. So it was on the March 15th, 1989, and I have the record with me of the 8th Lok Sabha, and on that day, on 15th March 1989, this demand was raised by various Lok Sabha MPs.
Which included?
I will just give you the names, but first you should mention that Prime Minister was Rajiv Gandhi at that point of time. Speaker of the Lok Sabha was Dr. Balram Jakhar, and Deputy Speaker was Mr. Thambi Durai at that point.
Yes, he's very much active even
today he is very much active.
Yes.
So he was the Deputy Speaker. Now what happened once this demand was raised? There was a lot of hue and cry inside the house. Opposition MPs were agitated. They demanded, this role should be probed because they knew it very well. Because Dhawan was his proximity with Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, so they were trying to pinpoint on Mr. Rajiv Gandhi through Mr. Dhawan.
Okay.
Of course, the government of that day they did not accept this demand. So there's a lot of hue and cry and a lot of hangama within the Lok Sabha. So after that, two resolutions were moved by the government at that point of time. In the first resolution, 58 MPs were suspended.
Okay.
Those include Vishwanath Pratap Singh,
VP Singh, the former Prime
the
Minister.
biggest name is VP Singh. At that point of time, VC Shukla, Manvendra Singh, and Rajkumar Rai, DB Patil, Arif Mohammad Khan. All these
Who is
names,
the current governor of Kerala.
You just interviewed him
Yes.
before yesterday. So, A.K. Patel, all these names were there, and also some from CPI and CPM also, like Indrajit Gupta, Geeta Mukherjee. They were also suspended on that day. Vasudev Acharya, Ajit Kumar Saha, and Hana Mola, जो कि बहुत बाद में काफी senior MP थे. All these were mentioned.
These are fascinating details.
Yeah, and these are fascinating because after that, another resolution was moved to suspend another 5 MPs. So those included Somnath Chatterjee, Saifuddin Chaudhary, KP Unnikrishnan, V. Kishore Chandra Dev, and Narayan Chaubey. So total overall 63 MPs were suspended. They were suspended for 3 days, 15th, 16th, and 17th March 1989 under Rule 374. Even this rule is invoked today, also under Rule 374. But interestingly, very next day on 16th March, they came to, they had a meeting with the speaker, they apologized for their behavior, and the suspension was revoked. But here, this is not the case. Here, every day, the number is increasing.
Yes. And Akhilesh, what is perhaps most worrying is that this is the last full session of the 17th Lok Sabha.
True.
After that, there'll be vote on account. But the suspension which is happening is also happening of MPs who are not seen as ruckus creators. Like a Dimple Yadav, as journalists who cover parliament, we have not seen her raising slogans or, enter the well of the house. Why do you think the government is taken this maximalist position?
Well, the reason is very simple. As you mentioned correctly, this is the almost last session for all practical purposes of the 17th Lok Sabha. The general election is just 3 months away. So we see that in the last or the penultimate year of any government, what happens that, opposition is always very aggressive.
Huh.
In fact, if you recall the UPA days,
Yes.
in 2008, what had happened in 2013, what had happened, 2013, there were various allegations against the Manmohan Singh government. So in the penultimate year, of course, the opposition always gets aggressive because they see the election or writing on the wall is very clear. They are not sure how many of them will come back to the house when the
So maximum impact.
maximum impact has to be there, and that is why both the government and the opposition, they are aggressive. Now it's a debatable point, Marya, whether this issue which is raised by the opposition parties of the security breach in parliament, is it actually something on which people would like to vote? Opposition MPs themselves, they have been raising these points like unemployment, inflation. These points are there. In fact, the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very aggressive on this issue. He has countered the opposition charges and said very clear today in the parliamentary party meeting, saying very clearly that some MPs or some opposition leaders are trying to actually sympathize with those people who have breached the parliament security. So in a sense, it's very dangerous. That's what he said. So the BJP has also got the response ready as far as the opposition campaign is concerned.
And would you say that this issue came, unfortunate issue, certainly it would be because it's the breach of Parliament of India, came on a platter, and the opposition, which had felt cornered after the debacle in the recent elections, they were looking at one issue to corner the government, and then all the India parties came together on this issue. And as you said it rightly, we have seen before, in 2018, in 2013, and in 2008 also, that whenever it is the last few sessions before the general elections, there is almost like a breakdown of communication between the treasury benches and opposition. Will the government then be accused of not showing interest or not making effort of running the house?
Well, the demand by the opposition is very clear. They are demanding that Home Minister Amit Shah should come to the house and make a statement on this parliamentary security breach issue. So their demand is very clear, but the government says that Lok Sabha Speaker has already made it very clear that the parliament security comes under the purview of the Lok Sabha Secretariat. And as far as the security breach is concerned on this specific incident, high-level inquiry has been ordered. He has written to the Home Ministry, and the Home Ministry has already constituted a committee which is looking into this matter. And if you recall, on 13th of December, when this thing happened, an all-party meeting was called by the Speaker, where various suggestions were invited from various political party leaders that how to strengthen the parliament security. So this is being done, and the government also recalling the past incidents. Marya, you are also a very senior and experienced reporter. You have seen Parliament very closely. That in the past too, we have seen that on various occasions such security breaches have happened. Pamphlets were thrown from the visitors gallery. In fact, few people have actually jumped into the house when in the old Parliament building. It was long back. And an MP was carrying a pistol, and one MP was spraying the pepper spray inside the house. So
Lagapati Rajgopal.
Yeah,
I remember his name.
All these things have happened.
But
so the government is saying on all the previous occasions there was a wider consensus among the all the political parties. They never politicized this issue, but then why do it this time?
Yes.
And as we have answered this question before, that because the elections are just 3 months away.
Yes, and it's also the very divided polity. In 2001, when there was an attack on Parliament, we saw Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was then the Prime Minister, take the lead, and he ensured that across party lines, leaders come and speak in one voice.
Yeah.
This time around, why do you think the polity is so divided?
I mean, it's basically the
Elections
are just 3 months away, and of course, the reason that there's no harmony, or whatever coordination
Yes,
between
no
the
harmony.
BJP and between the government and the opposition benches are there. We have seen in the past how in the previous occasions, even in fact, if you talk about Rahul Gandhi, he was suspended, then he was brought back. Even in this session, Mahua Moitra, as a TMC MP, she was expelled from the house. So these all incidents, very clearly show, and how today Kalyan Banerjee,
was seen mimicking. I think that's unfortunate.
Mimicking of
Yes.
Jagdeep Dhankhar. So all these things very clear.
Okay.
That there's no love lost between the opposition and the government.
Akhilesh, we'll do a recap of what happened in 1989, and we have that report which clearly said that the Thakkar report, which was the Justice Thakkar Commission of Inquiry, which was set up to look into the assassination of late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1984, the Thakkar panel report had cast doubts on the role of R.K. Dhawan, who was then the personal assistant of Indira Gandhi. In fact, the report had said, and then I'm going to come to Akhilesh on that, there are strong indicators and numerous factors which warrant grave suspicion as regard the complicity and involvement of R.K. Dhawan, special assistant to the Prime Minister, in the conspiracy to assassinate the late Prime Minister. And this is what the panel report had said. So, opposition was not wrong in demanding an inquiry on him.
Because commission report says so, but
Yes.
nobody who knows political circles, I mean, will never accept the fact that R.K. Dhawan was somebody who was instrumental in this conspiracy, because Dhawan was such a confidant of Indira Gandhi and later on of Rajiv Gandhi that nobody can doubt any cast any aspersions on his role as far as this.
Gandhi was not ready to get him investigated. Because if this, I mean, whatever said and done, the parliamentarians were not wrong in demanding his role be
I mean, later on
interrogated.
also, if you recall, Marya, there were so many commissions. If we go into, in fact, Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, there was a Jain commission which was inquiring into that whole conspiracy theory. And if you recall that the government was brought down just because it was pinpointing towards DMK. So all these development do happen in our political history, and I mean, whatever the government of the day, they have to take a call.
Yes.
And Mr. Dhawan, as far as Mr. Dhawan is concerned, I do not think that there's any doubt about his integrity or his closeness or his proximity.
So, but
to the
that
Gandhi
suspension
family.
happened only for a day.
It happened only for a day. It happened on 15th of March, and the next day, all them, they were suspension was revoked. They all became part of the house. They came back to the house.
So, do you think something like that will happen this time around?
I don't think, because every day the number is increasing, Marya. And in fact, now whatever MPs are left from the opposition side in parliament in the both houses mainly are from
Other
parties, from the parties which have supported the government.
So they are unattached,
like
basically.
BJD, YSR Congress, AIADMK. So I don't think they will create any ruckus. inside
Rahul
the house.
Gandhi is in the house.
Rahul Gandhi is still in the house. Yes.
Rahul Gandhi he's not being suspended. All right. So thank you so much. So that was a quick recap for our viewers as to what really happened in 1989. At that time, 63 MPs were suspended for unruly conduct. This time again, over 114 MPs suspended for unruly conduct. But unlike last time, it's unlikely again that MPs will be recalled after just one day of suspension, because this session comes to an end in another 3 days. So thanks so much for watching.